So yeah, (113) Christians, Nigerian Christians, have been murdered in the last 3 weeks in a part of Nigeria called Baso, in a state called Plateau State. It's all overland. It's similar to this whole Israel-Palestine shit. It's over, you got your differences in language and in dialect and in religion. That just makes all of this a recipe for disaster. And the world is probably going to get involved, because there's a lot of Christians involved here, which they always seem to be a target to Muslims. Don't you find that peculiar? And then when the blowback comes, then they're the victims. It always happens. It's similar to what's going on with African Americans in America. But they have it way better. And this is what I want to talk about, how this, what happened in Kenya with IUIC was amazing to me. And you guys should notice too how amazing that event was, that something like that happened. And Kenya is not even that bad compared to Nigeria, because if you watch the video that I did when I was talking about IUIC, before I cut it up into the short, I was on break when I did that video. I was on a nice hour break. And I wanted to talk about that IUIC thing because it was just like this, when a moment of clarity just hits you, it was like that. Liked your video about Nate getting attacked in Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you, Mike B. What up to Farewell to the Flesh? Everybody that's on, if you would like to, consider giving this video a like, clicking the thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel, because there's a few things I'm going to be talking about, and I'm going to keep talking about this stuff on a weekly basis. You're going to see me more consistently as we get into world affairs, because narcissism is running rampant in America. We are narcissists, especially African Americans in America, that the ones that are claiming that they are such a victim and they, all of that. Check what's going on in Nigeria and get back to me. Because if you think you got it bad in this country because Orange Man bad and Tesla's, like, people that claiming like they're the victims are the ones attacking innocent people that just happen to drive a certain brand of car. Those cars are being scratched up and keyed up by people that are narcissists, that think the whole world revolves around them. And that's mostly white people that are doing that shit. But what you see, like, happening with the Israelites, in the Hebrew Israelites called Israel United in Christ, what you saw happen in Kenya, which is in Nairobi, Kenya, that's where I believe there's a university out there. Man, I gotta find this university. It's a very prestigious university. People in Kenya ain't so like wild like that, but of course Kenya is a whole country. So to say that, it's like when you generalize Kenyan people, right? Especially in Nairobi, they probably won't do this to them. But the average person. But at the same time, I can't really call it like that, because I'm not there. I'm looking at this shit just like y'all from afar. And I said in the video, in the live that I did, I said Why don't you wait till you go to Kenya? Wait till you see what happens to you when you go to Kenya. I said it in that live. Go check it out, which I think was last week. I forgot what day it was. Thank you for the thumbs up and all of that. Did ICGJC consider Nigerians to be Israelites? No, they considered, but then they get weird about it. This is how they play. This is how they sit on a fence. The best way to sit on a fence is to be a Hebrew Israelite with the damn pole in your mouth. That's how these cats do it. They sit on the fence by saying Nigerians are Hamites, they're not Israelites. But there's many of them, there's many of us there. Actually, most Haitians and African Americans have Nigerian ancestry in them, a lot of it. Like that would be the biggest one usually that you find. Because most slaves got taken out of what's called Togo and Benin. And that whole area, that's where there was a big slave coast and the charters, the ships were charting like constantly. That was the area. That's where the slave catchers were. And that's where there was a lot of money in Africa. Africans were catching slaves and it became the place to get slaves. Africa was a place to get slaves because Africans enslaved each other all the time. It was just a thing that they did. And at least at that time. And that was a thing that the whole world did at some time. You go far back enough. The thing is, for some reason, Africa just doesn't keep up with the rest of the world. Some parts. Africa just always seems to be far behind as long as I could remember. There's certain places in North Africa like Egypt and Morocco and Algeria. There's certain places that are actually, and Senegal, at Ghana. Ghana's pretty nice. These places are not bad. Like I'm not trying to say like Africa. It's not. Africa's huge, so you got to break it down by countries, and then you got South Africa. I haven't even begun to talk about what's going on in South Africa because that's a whole nother beast. There's enough going on right here in this country. What's good, Myron? What's going on? That's my brother right there. He said, I'm drunk tonight. Oh, yeah, not me, man. I got to work tomorrow, and it's late. But, yeah, man, enjoy yourself, man. Let's talk about this, man. Thank you for the thumbs up and the hearts and all of that stuff, man. Because there's a myth in the black community here in America that they want you to feel that you can't do nothing unless these are how these cults start. They try to be identity cults. You can't do nothing in this country unless you join up with us. They always try to make you join up with them, and they always try to tell you that something bad is going to happen to you because this whole world is going to come down. And isn't it shit so bad already in America? And it's very narcissistic and self-centered to think that you're the focus of attention in this whole world and that it's all about you. And you got cats like Gorilla Hebrew spending all types of money on worldly ass hoes that he lets get, he gets cucked pretty much, which means he lets another man fuck his own wife while he watches. But this is a wife that, he lost to the white girl, to the white guy. He lost his girl to the white guy because he couldn't keep control over her because she wasn't a Hebrew Israelite. She was worldly. But the Hebrew Israelites, the ones that are speaking, are now exposing Gorilla Hebrew for trying to push that same thing onto them, onto his actual wives. He's living double lives. And he's not going to change who he is. What he's going to do with all the power that you guys have given Gorilla Hebrew, you've given him all this power. The black community is constantly getting suckered by con men. And this guy's he's not even 50% black, okay? He's probably like me. He's a quarter black kind of cat. Because from what I think, his father was a little light-skinned too. Because you know some of them Haitians be like that. His father's white DNA goes back to Europe. It goes back to Caucasians, definitely. His mother we know was white, but who knows? Her DNA, the way shit works, who knows? But let's think like a Hebrew Israelite, man. real quick. These guys think that they're oppressed in this country, and look how they're living. They're actually destroying themselves. You got Shar Arayala right now, Arayala Shar, or Shar Arayala. I think he's still live. I was gonna go on his live and give another comment, you know, but he don't let anybody just comment like that. You got to be like subscribed for a certain amount of time. I don't know if YouTube made it like that or if he made it like that, but yeah, man, yo, enjoy your life, man. You know, because you are not living as a Christian in Nigeria, in Plateau State, you know, and you better thank the God that you worship, that you're not living in that part of Nigeria that you don't even have to worry about this. You're going to work every day or doing whatever you got to do every day. Maybe you're investing in the stock market. You know, you got a family you worry about. Your day-to-day life doesn't consist of you being oppressed here in America. But look at what's happening to Christians in Nigeria. Look what happened when the IUIC, these Hebrew Israelites called Israel United in Christ, acronym is IUIC. Look what happened when they went to Kenya. They got human waste thrown at them. They were tear gassed. They were stoned. And I'm not talking about, but all of that happened. And I've never heard of that happening to IUIC in the United States of America. It's just very interesting what's happening here. But yeah, Mike B, you are God, though. Solipsism is true. Man, you know what? I can't define solipsism right now. If you offered me $1 million, I couldn't do it. It's been so long since I've gotten into you know, different beliefs, you know, since I pretty much left the Hebrew Israelite belief and started searching and found myself to pretty much be some type of a realist, some type of a humanist, a person that's just not convinced, that just wants to sit back and be a fly on the wall and just look at everybody else argue. But I like to debate myself, you know, so I don't mind getting out here and throwing my hat in the ring. I wouldn't mind getting back on Sakari, Public Enemies, Guerrilla Hebrew. I asked you a question a few times on some of your posts, Guerrilla Hebrew. I don't know, you know, you probably don't see everything, but you know, we got to do this this live one more time, and I want to ask you about Arsareth again, and I need you to clarify and really give me the reference, because whatever reference he gave to 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 44, to that country, through that country, is supposed to mean to that country. Guerrilla Hebrew, where'd you get that shit from? You pulled that shit out of your... Shit, I mean, you pulling all types of stuff out of there, you know? Who knows what you got coming out of there, going in. That shit is like fucking JFK. That there's just so much traffic in and out of Guerrilla Hebrew's arse. But he's pulling shit out of nowhere. He's lying, and people are being deceived. So if you already took, you know, and fell for the Hebrew Israelite doctrine, hook, line, and sinker, you're not gonna care that, oh, he doesn't really know what through that country, where, you know, there's no, they're just gonna believe whatever Guerrilla Hebrew says, because he's God to them. He's their daddy. He's their leader, spiritual leader, and all of that. There's people that really, really worship this guy and give him a substantial amount of money consistently. You know, you're just earning money because you're teaching people lies, but you're making them feel good, and you're giving them an identity. You're giving them a reason to be, and something, not just a reason, but I mean the reason. I am the reason why everything exists, is how these cats think. It's because of me. If it wasn't for Israel, the world wouldn't be here. There would be no creation, is what the Hebrew Israelites out of 1 West 125th Street interpret by the scripture that says, what's it in Jeremiah? Wow, see, I'm rusty. What's the scripture in Jeremiah that said that if you didn't see the children of Israel anymore, you won't see the sun, you won't see the moon, you won't see the stars anymore? And the reason being that the Hebrew Israelites say is that all of those things are here and there is because the Hebrew Israelites. So even you can even use scriptures in your Bible. This is not some Hebrew Israelite Bible. This is the Bible. Any translation, it says in some way, one way or another, it says that if you look up at the sky, you don't see the sun, the moon, and the stars no more, or if I don't know which way, maybe I got it backwards, then you won't see the children of Israel no more, something like that. If you don't see the children of Israel no more, then you ain't gonna see. So you know that the sun, the moon, and the stars are still in rotation and still in its orbit. The reason why that thing is still intact is because there's still some remnant of Israelites here. But if they were to be completely extinct, then you'll see the moon and the sun and the stars will just start falling or something. I don't know. Maybe we'll just blow up in flames. Just, I'm from Georgia, San Miguel TV. Yo, Georgia is one of my favorite states. I love Georgia. Gorilla Hebrew, I was in Atlanta a few weeks ago. I wanted to speak with you. Gorilla Hebrew, and you know Gorilla Hebrew? Is that what you're saying? Because I know he came to Atlanta not too long ago. I saw he came to Miami like a month ago. So he probably did the trip, you know. That's what Tazadakia did. He would go to Miami, then he'd go to Georgia or something like that. But yeah, Tazadakia is or was the leader of the ICGJC. See, he was my leader. He was my Gorilla Hebrew, Tazadakia. Very similarly, now Gorilla Hebrew is being exposed by his former lovers. But I think no, Tazadakia got it worse. But we've just begun. We've only just begun to live. I love that shit. It's just begun. Because Shar Arayala is live right now, I believe, exposing more of Gorilla Hebrew's crazy antics, his ways. He stinks with all his ways. I mean, with the type of stuff that I'm hearing that's coming out, it's interesting because it's not like, oh, well, this is just a regular, captain in Sakari or whatever. This is just Officer Rob Yawasap in Sakari. So it don't matter. No, this is the guy that built up Sakari. So if the head is sick, the whole body is sick, right? You can't tell me he's not sick. Well, all of a sudden he's healed. They think he's healed already. They think he's good. Oh, I'm moving on. Yeah, no, you ain't moving on yet. We're not ready yet. We're not done dragging your stupid ass. Oh, there's a whole lot of us out here that want to get a piece of this cat, man. Pause. Because there's a lot, man. I mean, I remember the whole conversation we had. I thought we pretty much had a decent conversation. It didn't get disrespectful. It ended, I didn't get booted off at the end. It was just normal. Unlike Rob Yawasab, who's booted me off twice now. See, you can't like, they never want to let you get to the point where now you're going to start questioning them. They always try to ambush you and make the whole thing about, what do you believe? But you're the one claiming you're a Hebrew Israelite. I'm here to challenge what you believe. Fuck what I believe. I'm not the one saying that God is dealing with me and the world is going to come to an end and you got to be like me. We think the right way. Everybody else is crazy. That's what Hebrew Israelites say. So then now Go ahead and represent who you are. I will gladly tell you out here, I've been wrong so many times, and I'm going to be wrong so many times more in my life. But what I'm not going to do is lie to myself anymore, like I did when I was a Hebrew Israelite. You've got to mature from that. You know when a plátano is green and then it turns yellow? That's what you got to do, man. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm Dominican. This is how I speak, you know? And you know, to all the Dominicans that lost their lives in the Dominican Republic, I love you motherfuckers, man. That was a sad story. I just want to shout that, you know, I just want to say that's very tragic. This was a very like big thing. I'm feeling for our people right now. Even though I'm not from there, I've lived there in my lifetime. I went to kindergarten in the Dominican Republic. You know, I'm definitely an American through and through. I'm as American as apple pie. But I can be as Dominican as Mangu too. You know, because I know my people, man, and I can recognize my people everywhere I go. All I have to do is sometimes look at you, and I can tell there's something about that person's Dominican. I can tell. But especially if they open their mouth and speak Spanish, oh, I always can tell. Reno, man, what's good, brother? Mike B says, Myron, Sikkim Dogs. Gorilla Hebrew probably keeping a low profile for now. Nah, he hasn't. He's just been like nothing happened. He's still doing his lives, but he don't got that many followers anymore ever since they shut down the other page, because that's his own page now. He only got 8,000 followers. I mean, not only, that's you know, that's good. But it would be good. It would, I mean, it's not good. It would be good if he was guiding them. You know, but to him it's good. And he's making money. He's, you know, he's not oppressed. The world has not oppressed Gorilla Hebrew. Gorilla Hebrew is an army brat who's actually traveled the world. He's lived in many states in the United States. He looks like he had a good foundation. For some reason, he hates his mother and would kill her at, you know, at any given moment. If it's, you know, required of his God to kill his mother, he would do it. Because his God, according to what his God believes, his God could at any moment tell you to kill the Edomite, and there would be nothing wrong with it, because there's nothing wrong with killing Edomites. That's what they were created for, white people. You know, this listen, this is not what I stand for. I'm just repeating, you know, I'm just a messenger from the Most High, apparently. You know, que lo que la mamá de mi novia nos mira en la cama. Okay. A top Islamic apologist is also getting exposed for a similar scandal. Yeah, his name is Muhammad Hijab. Yeah, you see what's going on out here? It's like people become powerful and they want to live out their wildest fantasies. You know, they want to be involved with every woman that they can get. These are like the urges of a teenager, right? That is like going through puberty and wanting to bust a nut every fucking 10 minutes. This is like the mindset of that. Like you just want, you know, whatever. You're not even thinking. This is like it becomes your everything, and you're just enthralled into this whole like. I mean, listen, the different wives that Gorilla Hebrew had, he's just pulling them like, bro, this is what he's doing. This is how he's living, right? He's living pretty good. He's not oppressed. What do you fucking need to be saved from in America? Why does Jesus Christ is gonna come and Gorilla Hebrew's gonna be like, yo, man, can you give me like 3 more months? Not yet, yo, Jesus, yo. Because you are not oppressed, man. Gorilla Hebrew, when are you gonna start going to Nigeria? You think you're so fucking tough, man. You think you got henchmen and goons around you. Take your fucking goons, your half fucking mulatto-looking goons and shit. They're gonna fucking get y'all niggas even more if you go to Africa. They're gonna get you, man. Especially if they see that you're the leader, you're done. They're gonna chop your big fucking hairy head off, clean. Gorilla Hebrew, stop acting like you're tough in a fucking country that babies black people and this whole woke shit. People that talk like you are beloved. You're gonna go on fucking No Jumper. Like, what the fuck? How is this guy speaking anything? They give him attention because he has a following, and the shit that he's saying is so bizarre and crazy that people are like, yo, I need to get this guy to say what he's saying on my channel, because now they can take that soundbite and play it over and over. You know, yeah, white people, you know, yeah, we're gonna kill white people. You know, some shit, he's gonna say some shit like that, and No Jumper's gonna be like, yes, you know, or Adam 22, whatever the fuck. But no, Gorilla Hebrew is not keeping a low profile for the dude that said that before. He's still out here. He's actually saying, he's like, I'm good. I moved on. I'm good. Do I look stressed? No, you don't look stressed. That's the point, nigga. You in fucking America chilling, and you think that you need salvation from Jesus Christ. But when your fellow Hebrew Israelites, Israel united in Christ, Nathaniel and them, go to another country where it's supposed to be people that look like you, you're getting it worse than you ever gotten it in America. They're actually the ones beating down white people and stuff in America, or beating down their own people at camp when things don't go right. When things go left sometimes at camp. All right? You've seen these incidents. And sometimes they go at it with themselves. It'd be a Mexican against a Mexican. I've seen that. Hebrew Israelite Mexican fighting a Mexican that walked by, and then, you know, I don't know. Shit just popped off. That's what happens. Mike B, or Myron says, at Mike B, peace and blessings. I've spoken with San Miguel TV some time ago. He's a good brother. He knows where I'm coming from. I have forsaken the Hebrew Israelite movement long ago. Mega Dardignan says, I'm confused. Didn't the Israelites say that Africans is like the other nations? Then why are IUSC out there teaching Kenya? Yeah, man. That none of this stuff makes sense. They're making it seem like these are all Hebrew Israelites. Like, how can Africans be Hebrew Israelites and be Africans? How can y'all look exactly alike? Because you are African. Yo, these people are insane, man. And then you got a dude that's become a leader in the Hebrew Israelite community that's not even black. If you want to say that Hebrew Israelite's black because he's 50% black, which he's not even that. I think he's like 30% black. But if you want to say that he's black because he's 50% black, because his mother's white, so that would make him 50% white, then you also have to say that he's white. If you could say he's black, you could say he's white in the same breath, which doesn't make sense. So you have to say that he's black and white. But how can you be two things? That doesn't make sense. How can you be African and American? How can you be two continents? So fucking ignorant, man. So stupid. Like, you don't know the difference between genetics and nationality. They don't. They call nationality genetics. When they say, what's your nationality, they're asking you, who are you? Like, what's your ethnicity? They're so stupid. Nationality could mean that you are a citizen of a certain nation. And now you have Hindu nationality, or not Hindu, Pakistani nationality, or you could become part of the England, pretty much. It's a UK citizen, and that's who you are. Now that becomes your nation. That has nothing to do with genetics. That's not the point, because you can be Chinese in Dominican Republic, and your genetics say that you're Asian. That whole father's seed thing makes no sense in the Hebrew Israelite community, because Moab and Ammon come from the same father, but yet they're two different nations. Because you know what they're going to say about Jacob and Esau. Two nations are in thy womb. So yeah, God did it. God did that. But they came from the same father. So, but God did it in that instance. No, God did it all the time. Because Shem, Ham, Japheth, they had the same father too. Shem, Ham, and Japheth had the same father. So they all should have the same seed. So everything that Shem, Ham, and Japheth produce, they should all be the same seed. That's how they're talking about it. When you saw I don't know if you saw the live that I did with Rob Yawasop from Sakari. When I went live with him, he made it seem, I gotta go back on this one. he made it seem like, oh, but they were all Adamites or something like that. They were all Adamites or whatever the hell he called them. I'm like, okay, then the only thing that Adamites can produce are Adamites. It's like, how does something else come out of that? How does Assyria, which comes from Ashur, that was the name of the father of the Assyrians, which came from Shem. I think he was like one of the firstborns of Shem. The firstborn of Shem was Elam. That was Shem's firstborn, was Elam. Go to Genesis chapter 10, I believe, or 9. And it gives you that genealogy, right? I might have the chapter wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. It goes through it, and it breaks it down, son by son. And we're literally talking about father's seed. But then, all of a sudden, you have Assyrians. All of a sudden, you have Elamites, Moabites, Japheth. But now, no, then you have to say that, no, God had it a different way back then. But later on, he made it about the father's seed, which is not even how it works. It's just inheritance. The Bible talks about inheritance, and they were looking for the father's house of some of these people because of inheritance. That's just how it worked. The man owned everything, and the woman was actually owned by the man. The woman was the man's property. The children was the man's property. Everything, the cattle, the land was the man. The man ran the household, the home. Everything else fell under that. It was just the way it worked. That's why you see men, husbands, or fathers bargaining their daughters away, bargaining, because they own those daughters. And the daughters just thought that was the way of life. They didn't argue it. It was normal. That's how it worked. Hebrew Israelite and these guerrilla Hebrew and these Hebrew Israelites are normalizing a lot of crazy shit. You know, the way that they talk, you see the way they respond. They always have like a cookie cutter response to certain things. They all talk the same way. They're starting to realize that they can't fuck with a lot of people out here. They're starting to back off. These cats will never, well, they might have me. They might have me on, but they'll never give me a fair chance and a fair shot. When I start asking questions, then they start denying what they believe in. That's what Rob Yawasab did. This shit was crazy. Hold on, I'm gonna take this jacket off right now. Take this thing off, man. Talk to you mano a mano here with the Mets hat. Coming out of Queens, baby. Let's go Mets. I'm about to go to the Mets game this year. See what happens. The issue is that people always focus on tiny little differences like race, etc. I already love where this is going. We all live on the same planet and bleed blood. What's the actual difference? A mentality, us versus them. That's exactly what that is. I'm glad you threw that in there, us versus them, because that's a very cultish thing to do, is create an us versus them mentality. So it's weird how humans just naturally do these things, but we're starting to pick up on what humans do and starting to realize, oh, this is a good thing. This could really get people. And it's pure evil, man, because there's a lot of people that can be gotten. I work with geriatric patients. I work with old patients that they always become like suckers to scammers. They're like the #1 targets of scammers. And you got to be careful with these older people. You know, you got to watch after them. Because sometimes they'll call me and they'll be like, you know, Miguel, why is these people calling me, asking me about this and that with my insurance plan? They want to change my insurance plan. And I'm like, don't give them any information. You know, this is what these people are doing. Everybody in this world, not everybody, but you got people in this matrix out here. These people are vultures, man. They're scammers. And they'll be the ones trying to call it out. They're trying to expose it, but they'll be right in it. They're in the matrix. Guerrilla Hebrew, you are in the matrix, my friend. You are like BLM without the political identity, because you're still in an identity cult. BLM is an identity cult. Sakari is an identity cult. These are identity cults, focus on race to try to push agendas and try to overgeneralize by using race. And slavery's the unforgivable sin for all of y'all, because every pro-black movement has elements of the same shit all together mixed in, and there's slight differences. The Hebrew Israelite cult is a religious cult. BLM is a political cult. They use race, they use identity, they use all that stuff. You see what's going on with protesters. Did you see what's going on with protesters in Nigeria? This has been happening for years, but this was like 2020, around 2020. I saw this, but it's constantly going on. There's all types of injustices being put onto the Nigerian people by the police force, which is called um, SARS. I forget what it stands for. The Nigerian police force is it's called SARS, and they literally will shoot protesters that are carrying signs. They will shoot them down. That's what they have done on many instances. Show me a video in 2020 during the George Floyd riots, the BLM riots, where police were shooting protesters. It was actually the opposite. It was the opposite. You had people shooting at police officers. And there was a man in Minnesota by the last name Stalley, Stalley. I forget his first name, but you can look him up. He was arrested. He was shot at with rubber bullets by the police because they were trying to disperse a crowd, and he shot the police with a real gun and missed. He missed, and all charges were dropped. You're shooting at police. You're a black man in America. All charges dropped. And you're going to tell me that he's oppressed? I want you to listen to what I just said. Again, I'm going to say it. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you like this joint. I mean, I said what I said. There's much more to say. And I'm going to keep talking. Fuck it. We got time. It's still pretty early, right? It's not too late. I do got to be up at a certain time. So we're just gonna chill. We'll talk a little bit though. I don't want to be too loud too because I'm outside. I don't have my own land, my own space, my own privacy. I don't want to be loud in the crib. I don't want to be too loud out here. I'm not Gorilla Hebrew, man. I'm not deceiving, hundreds of people in the name of oppression, fake oppression, and Babylon the Great must fall, which is such an evil kingdom. Babylon is so evil, man. Look what they're doing to our people. You guys are soft, bitch-ass people. Hebrew Israelites are usually very woke. They don't even realize it. How the hell are you, like, they're the only pro-life, anti-abortion woke motherfuckers out here, because every woke motherfucker out here is like pro-abortion. But that's the only thing that makes these cats different. It's weird. They still preach the same doctrine that they're the victims, and the unforgivable sin of the white man is slavery, and they got to get theirs. It's just like they're like fake revolutionaries, all of them. The really Hebrews are fake revolutionary. He thinks he's starting a revolution. He really just created a cult. That's all it is, man. It's no revolution. It's going to be a cult that's going to probably go on for who knows how long. There's going to be children that are born out of all these freaking crazy-ass Sakari members that are still somehow giving money to this guy and supporting his crazy lifestyle of being cucking, and, spending all types of money from members that don't have it that good. It's just weird how that happens, isn't it? I don't like that nigga. I don't like that guy Tazaryak from ISUPK says Myron. I don't like him either. Yeah, I don't like him either. Yeah, like these cats teaching in Kenya and going to these countries in Africa. Like, what history of Israelites are there in Kenya? Where are there Israelites in Kenya? But they're going to just go to scriptures and say, well, the Israelites are scattered everywhere, so we got some people amongst here. But how many people are there? How many Israelites are in Kenya? Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? You can't do this shit via the internet? No, you're trying to get all brave because you think you have the power of God in you. And this is another thing that it shows, that you don't have the power of God in you. Because this should be the time, this right now, right here, right now, should be the time when you get the power. Like the song goes. This Israelite, Mega Dardigan says, this Israelite thing has really fell off a cliff. Now I'm starting to question the movement itself. I think it's still growing, but it's slowed down. Because if it was growing at the rate that it has been growing, if you look at from 2007 to about 2018, 2020, it was a big growth of groups that just popped up all over the place. And these are big groups, Sakari being one, GMS, IUIC is huge, GOCC, ISUPK, the Neo ISUPK kind of started in like 03, 04. And, but you know, it was still a growth because of the internet. So that grew, and you got the right amount of misinformed people and just easily misled people. You got the right amount of them now with the reach that they have with the internet that are joined in, because they would have been joined in if they would have heard it. But now they're just joining in because there's just a lot of people find this very interesting identity. People love to talk about who they are racially. Puerto Ricans love to fucking tell you that they're Puerto Rican. They will have a flag everywhere. I mean, I seen a dude wear a whole fucking outfit, which was all a flag. Everything was a flag. It was like he was a flag. It was crazy. He was Puerto Rican. It was a Puerto Rican Day parade, so just so you know. Puerto Rican Day and parade in New York and shit. Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican. I know. I can see what you're wearing. Jesus Christ. You got to remind me every 10 minutes. Hey, you know I'm Puerto Rican? I know. They love. I mean, that's people have national pride. Brazilians are the same way. Colombians, Dominicans. We all the same way, right? We got that national pride. We got Americans that are, I'm American. I'm in America. You sure are. And I'd rather be here. I'll tell you right now. I mean, maybe I want to be in Dominican Republic for a little while. Dominican Republic is on the come up, man. And these tariffs are actually going to help it because they didn't get tariffed that bad. Dominican Republic got 10%. There's still some negotiations that need to go on worldwide. Dominican Republic is going to come up. Mexico didn't get no tariffs. I don't think El Salvador and Guatemala got any tariffs either. I think El Salvador did. Wait, it was a 6% tax in, I think, Guatemala. I forget. Panama or something. Damn. I don't know. I got to go back and check because, Puerto Rico didn't get no tariffs, obviously. This is not, it's America. Don't catch you slipping. This is America. And it's a good day, though. I'm happy. I'm content. The future is bright. I'm not some of these people out here that are fear-mongering, telling you that Donald Trump is going to crash the economy and he's going to destroy America. I'm seeing things going in a pretty good direction right now. Inflation is at an all-time low in the last 4 to 5 years. So that means in Biden's whole presidency, inflation has never been this low. Then on top of that, you got gas, which is 40 cents less than it was last year today. That's a good come up. I'll take that shit any day. You also got no tariffs on smartphones. That's a fucking come up. Y'all don't see what he did? Like anybody else If this was Biden that did this, Democrats would be on his dick. They'll be clapping like, come on, son. But because it is who it is, because it's Trump, and there's more coming. XRP, I'm not down on XRP. I'm good. I've averaged down. It's time to buy. Don't let people fearmonger you. People that don't even know economics, people that don't study these things, they want to talk about it though. You know, I see somebody, some obese ass fucking. Uh, let me chill. I seen somebody talking about the stock market and just, oh, the stock market is just, it's just a bunch of men just pushing around their money, and the stock market is like, it's like fucking pulse. Well, it doesn't really. It's not always the best representation of how the economy is doing. The stock market is not always the best representation of how the economy is doing. Let me tell you that. But it's always good to keep your eye on the stock market because there's a lot of people's money in this country riding on the stock market, their 401k, all of that, because your 401k is based on the stock market. You know, you can invest in the company that you work for if you really trust your company. Why would you work for a company that you hate? You know, you got people so mad. They get a job that they hate. They work for a company they hate. They live in a country that they hate. You could just leave. All of those things. You don't have to live with your parents. Don't get mad at your parents because they don't let you, play music all loud and shit at night. Well, move out of your parents' house. You know? You got to be content with what you got. There's a song. What happened to the cool, uh, funky, you know, jive talking Negroes from the 60s and shit, 70s? Diamond in the back, some rooftop, digging the scene with a gangster lean. My man said, though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, diamond in the front, or diamond in the back, sun rooftop, digging the scene with a gangster lean, gangster white walls, TV antennas in the back. Boom, boom, boom. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you got. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, diamond in the front, diamond in the back. Man, I keep fucking that up. Sun rooftop, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Just be thankful. Just be thankful for what you got, right? And you should have hope for the future. The future's not hopeless. You let Orange Man Bad destroy your hope for the future. Oh, like, what you talking about? You don't have God anymore and shit. You don't have the Hebrew Israelite way of thinking where you just hope for everything to just get fucking destroyed. And you love when you see destruction hit. But let ISUPK, who probably loved what happened to IUIC. Oh, they sure did. GMS loved what happened to IUIC. But then GMS, you're going to talk shit. Why don't you go to Africa? Let's see what happens when you go to that same neighborhood and try the same shit. And talk the way that you talk on 34th Street in Manhattan, where you know these yuppie-ass white people, and they ain't going to say shit to you. They're going to keep walking. They fucking don't care. They're They just look at you like you're crazy. And, oh, poor black person. He doesn't know nothing. They look down on you. Some of them, they try to baby you, but that's really them looking down on you. They think you need to be babied, so they want to create that. Oh, you have a right to be angry at, my ancestors. I'm sorry for what my ancestors did. Let me get down and kiss your boots. You're getting boots licked in America. Hebrew Israelites get their boots licked in America. They go to Africa and they get, and it's sad what's happening to these Christians. Cause let these cats go to Nigeria, man. Fucking, you talk all you guys, you Hebrew Israelite leaders, Tahar, Yahana, Tazaryak. You won't go to Africa. You cats are all soft, man. You really are. I can't believe the people in your congregation are not pushing for some of this international preaching in these countries that actually need the word of God, as you put it, more than some fucking black person living in New York City, man. Living in one of the craziest, most advanced cities in the whole world. That he can literally go to work, wake up, get into his job on Wall Street. You got the mayor's black. Go to his job as a mayor. You go to City Hall. I'm the mayor. It's my job, punching in the clock as a black man. You got all types of people making all types of money, of all races. Yeah, there's a certain percentage in the black community that I talk about that is a big problem, I think. And these are people that have that. It's almost narcissistic. It's very similar to like how a Hebrew Israelite thinks, because they don't care about killing. They don't care about people if they're a certain race. Even worse if you're another race. But they don't care about their own race at all. Some of these people, they just only if you could kiss their ass, then they start. Oh, you like me? You gonna do this for me? Okay, I might could use you then. But they don't give a fuck about you. Some of these cats might chill with you and break bread with you. Some of these leaders probably have done that with some of these members, certain members, and that they never forget it. And that's how it is. Advance my ass, and NY is a dump. New York City got certain benefits. I've seen some things in New York City that I'm like, this is dope. But yeah, New York City ain't like what's going on in Japan, But there's all types of cities. Like, I've seen trains that go through buildings in Asia. I don't know what country this was, man. You got these trains like people live in a building where the train goes through. They just go upstairs, take the elevator upstairs and take the train and shit. It's crazy. I've seen all types of amazing things that have been built all over the world that I would love to travel and see one day, But the Hebrew Israelites, they're supposed to be traveling. They're supposed to be on a mission to gather the flock, but they're actually chilling. This cat, fucking Gorilla Hebrews, posting pictures. He's in Tulum. He had to get away. That cat was playing Mob Deep and shit on the airplane. He's like, sometimes I gotta get away. Like a fiend in these streets for crack. Ooh, get away. That cat was getting, Tazaryak was getting at him. I mean, think about it, man. It's coming out by your exes and shit, and your former members, your former followers that have now abandoned you. It's coming out that, they're all getting all this information behind your back. And now there's a whole database of what the hell was Gorilla Hebrew talking about with his wives and shit. Oh shit, pegging? What? Cucking? Yo, you don't even know the half yet. I haven't watched this live that Shar Araya Allah has done. But I might throw him another super chat just to get a comment in. Because, salute to that cat. He's doing good work. Shit, I'm using some of his videos. I hope you don't mind. I'll pay you a little something. I might edit it, a little bit. I'm gonna take some of these clips. I'm gonna keep doing what I do, and I'm gonna have my commentary over it though. Make sure I do that. Chi-Town's trains are pretty cool. Chi-Town? Yeah, Chicago is actually pretty nice, man. It's just certain parts. Like New York City, if you go to Like Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon's nice. I love Mount Vernon. That's more like going towards like upstate. So that's New York State. It's not really the city. Like Yonkers is not really the city, but it's just outside of it. So some people just consider it still the city, but technically it's not. There are parts of the city that are really nice in Manhattan. You have Hudson Yards. The Hudson Yards, go look at some of those high rises. They got everything in those buildings. Everything you need, you can do it in those buildings. They have bars, they have restaurants, they have barbershops, salons, and massage, all this stuff, man. Hudson Yards, and you could thank Trump for the development of some of that, by the way. Hudson Yards ain't no joke, because Trump used to own some property over there, a lot of it. And they were able to do what they did over there because he agreed to a certain deal with, it was a billionaire. Man, this dude, these motherfuckers made a lot of money, pretty much. I remember last time I went to New York City in 2021, I was seeing like I saw the nastiness, I was seeing it. I was seeing it in 2019, 2018. I go almost every year, or I used to at least. I haven't been there since 2021 because I don't want to be up in the trains. I don't want to be riding the fucking trains. If I don't have a whip and my own spot, I'm not staying with my pops in the projects anymore, you know? Because last time I went there, I was like, nah, I'm going to get my own spot. The last few times, I had a few spots, and it was like, I'm with nothing but migrants up in these hotels. There's nothing but migrants, just all up in these hotels. They chill outside during the day and do nothing. Most of them, I'm sure there's some of them that are working, that are living in some of these hotels. I mean, some of them, they have to be, because this is supposed to be temporary. If you really want to do something here in America, it's supposed to be temporary. These people don't, dude. There's so many of them that come to these cities and they take advantage of your fucking generosity, the privilege that you have being in this country. They take advantage of it. Gorilla Hebrew's vacationing in Tulum, Mexico, and he's talking about, man, I met this vendor, man, in Tulum. He's a vendor, man. This vendor in Tulum brought me back to reality, yo. And he's vacationing and shit, so fucking stressed. The dude had to take a vacation from the pegging. He said, I'm in Tulum, man. There's too much pegging going on, I gotta go to Tulum. I'm in Mexico, yo. I'm oppressed, yo. I'm an oppressed Israelite. I'm vacationing in Mexico. I needed a break. Wow. And Hebrew Israelites are liking it. I mean, he posted pictures. These are the posts, right? Where he's commenting. He's not even doing a video or nothing. He don't even want to show his face. It was a certain time there for like a week or 2 or 3 weeks, maybe, that Gorilla Hebrew was kind of hiding. I think he threw something out real quick, and then he did a video where he was just trying to get aggressive. He tried to get aggressive and just go through the video and get at Captain Tazaryak real quick and blah 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 blah, and put out a bunch of fucking hearsay. So much hearsay coming out that cat is putting out, that people, y'all ganging up, and Tazaryak is hitting up my ex-wife. Tazaryak is like, nigga, I never hit up your ex-wife. What are you talking about? And I believe him. Like Tazaryak is not a person that will lie about, certain things. I don't think. One thing I don't know. I mean, let me not even say that shit. I'm not trying to give these niggas no fucking nothing. But because I just recognize certain people's spirit, and I'd be like, some people just seem more legit than others, and I always knew Gorilla Hebrew was just, I don't know, man. I don't trust that cat with his little smile, his little laughs and shit. He be doing some weird laughs all the time. He's always like, and then he be having this mean grill, but he be like, you ever seen his fucking death stare? That nigga looks like a fucking devil. He looks like the Undertaker. The motherfucker looked like he put mascara in his fucking eyes to give himself a dark look and shit. Looking all crazy and shit. Looking depressed, demonic. He looks possessed. There's certain times where you catch Gorilla Hebrew sitting there not talking, and he looks straight fucking possessed like a demon. But you gotta watch these Hebrew Israelites, and watch people that talk like this. Like, one thing I'll tell you is that you can learn a lot just by listening and watching and not saying anything. Sometimes when I'm in a discussion and I don't agree with what the person is saying, I'll just sit back and let them talk a little bit more, because I want to really hear something. I don't want to just say, oh, no, I don't agree with you. I'll just, whatever, okay, you keep talking. I don't agree with what they're saying, but then they're saying, and blah, blah, and then they'll say something, and then the reasoning behind it, it's something that's always, it's always illogical. Or it's like why? What is this? Why do you think you're an Israelite? Well, it's because I read this and I look at this situation with the Israelites back then, and it looks very oppressive. It looks like they were just going through it, and it reminds me of my people in America. And it's like, why are you living in a time that you never lived in? Why are you stuck in that time, yet you're trying to make it seem like you're a slave, like you're fucking the new Nat Turner is what these motherfuckers. But they're not killing anybody. They're not really bringing the aggression because they don't have to. Nobody's trying to attack them. They don't have to be so aggressive. You don't have to be a gorilla. You're not a gorilla. You're a fucking pet monkey, Bobo. You're fucking Michael Jackson's pet monkey. You're not a gorilla. You're fucking for play. That's what you've been and always been. That's what's coming out. That you are for the streets, man. This motherfucker is doing. We don't know what he's doing yet. It has yet to fully come out. But they say all things must come into the light. That's what they say. And a war makapash. A war means light in Hebrew. Yeah. Uriel. Beware of the giggly ones. The giggity. Fucking giddy and shit. Giggly and giddy and bubbly and always laughing at everything. Everything is funny and, you don't have there's no real, like, I don't know. It's like when it comes time for him to start putting on the fucking deception glasses, then, it's time to get serious, brothers and sisters. It's time to get serious. But when he can't, when he doesn't really have a response, or he's getting shut down, but right now by Shar Arayala. Shar Arayala right now is pretty much exposing him like on a daily basis, and he's getting about 400 viewers at a time. That's pretty fucking impressive. Shit, ride that wave. You better go live every day. You better go live every day with what's going on right now. You're hot. You better strike while the iron is hot. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure there's a backstory to it that's very interesting. We got Soy Burger, somebody says. Nice improv, by the way. Thank you. Boulay says Prince Hall culture. Oh, I'm sorry. Adam M says Boulay Prince Hall culture. Yeah, Prince Hall, right. Prince Hall. That's the Black Masons. They got one out here by the Citrus Bowl. Downtown, not far from downtown Orlando, but this is the other side of the tracks. The area around the Citrus Bowl is very, very fucking ghetto out here in Orlando. It's weird because it's not far from downtown, and you cross the tracks and shit. You cross a certain street, and it's just all lit up all of a sudden, and this is where the Magic play. Yo, but you go down, you don't walk around in this part of Orlando. It's disgusting. Too, there's like no sidewalks sometimes. It's dirt, broken bottles. There's prostitutes walking around. There's drug fiends walking around. It's still like that out here. This shit's worse than New York City. No. I take that back. It was worse than New York City in like 2010, 2012. I remember the stats. I'm still thinking about those days. Um, I haven't. I gotta check the stats for Orlando because I follow. Of course, I see all the time what's going on. I'm always gonna hear about what's going on in my local area, Central Florida, Volusia County, and all of that. Tampa. I follow that, of course, but New York City always stands out to me, man, because it's just so insane how they're allowing like people coming from other countries to disrespect your own citizens. Why would you do that as people that you're supposed to be the gatekeepers of society, the gatekeepers of your people, and you're opening these gates and letting whoever in in the name of diversity and inclusion and all this shit that's just these code words and buzzwords that are meant to make you feel good about yourself, make you feel like you're inclusive and you care and you're empathetic and it's like, yeah, if you do that too much, you're gonna wind up, getting taken advantage of. You're gonna you don't come on, man. What are you doing here? I gotta explain that. Like some of these people are like uh asexual, like these woke ass motherfuckers. They don't have children, you know? You teach your children a certain way, how to behave a certain way. Why would you, as a politician, just allow yourself to buddy up with MS-13 motherfuckers coming from El Salvador? Even the president of El Salvador, he's not playing with these motherfuckers, man. He's not playing with these people. You think he's gonna create some fucking victim story? What the fuck? You don't kill my citizens by the fucking thousands and shit. You know? Um, every fucking what's the murder rate? Every year, like 5,000, I think it was. At some time, 6,000 in El Salvador. No, I think it was more than that. 10,000. It was up, man. Like it was like probably almost like 10,000, 12,000. It was going crazy, and then it's just from one year to the next, it was like gone, like magic. And what was it? It was a very rigid prison system, which the police force, every that they put the clamps on, because it was the time called for it. It became necessary. Now this can be bad. This can become worse than too much chaos. Too much order is would be the yin and the yang, right? You got the chaotic, the mess, and you got the in between, and then you got the too much power given to individuals can cause corruption, and the people suffer for that. So you got to find the balance between both. You do have to be empathetic towards the people, but you have to begin with your people. I see homeless people panhandling out here on intersections that I work on every day, like clockwork. I see them, and they know me, and I know them, and they just hang around every day. And I go home, I clock out, they're still out there. I might come out later on and pass by the same area, and they're still out there because I gotta go I gotta go to the little market real quick and get some stuff. Oh, there's Alfredo or whatever the hell. I don't know them by name, but damn, what just happened? Anyways, yeah, I just find it real funny that these people that claim to be oppressed, Guerrilla Hebrew, Tazdakia, ICGJC, General Yahana, Tazaryak, Tahar, Judah Nazareth, um, Rakah, Elder Rakah, whatever, from GOCC. All these leaders of these Hebrew Israelite groups, Guerrilla Hebrew, Nathaniel, these people are deceiving thousands. You have, when you combine them all, you have the short Napoleon Dynamite dude that is part of HOI. He has a Napoleon complex. He's the loudest one that you've ever heard. He's the shortest one too. Forget his name. I saw him in Times Square, and I approached the camp, and it was, it was the worst conversation you could ever have. It's not a conversation. It's just, what do you want? What do you want? Hey, you know, what do you gotta say, man? What do you want? The papi, oh, come on, Dominicano. What kind of conversation are we having? He's why are you calling me Dominicano? What is that? What am I supposed to be like? Yeah, I am Dominican. Can I join you? Like, what the fuck? Is that how you talk to the Simeonites in your fucking? Like, I'm a New Yorker first. Like, I can have a conversation and we don't have to do this. Hey, Dominicano. Like, I don't even have an accent. I'm talking to you without an accent. Why are you mocking? Like, trying to mock me like I have an accent? It's so weird what he was doing. Go back and watch that. I'm sitting there like, yeah, what's going on? It reminds me of this episode I saw, I think, in Curb Your Enthusiasm. No, it was in The Office. You got this guy goes up to this waiter. The waiter is like Asian, and I think it was a white guy. And he was like, do you have what you call a water? And the waiter's like, yeah, we have water. He thought the waiter was gonna be like, what you say? And the waiter had it like no accent. He's like, we have water. And that's the Asian waiter. No accent, no, how you doing, sir? No, none of that's going on. What are you doing? And he's like, Dominicano. It's the same shit. It's like, what are you trying to like mock me? Like, I'm not even talking that way at all. I have a normal way of talking. Like, what the hell? What are you confused about? Like, you think like that's, I don't understand these cats. I don't know. But I forget this cat's name. He's that's how unimportant some of these guys are to people at large. Like, this guy probably has like 20 followers maybe. In his little camp or whatever location he's at. Because I don't think he's the leader of this thing. It's like, it's not one leader. I don't know. But y'all know who I'm talking about, man. Zabak, god damn it. I always forget his stupid ass name. The Mega Dardignan says, that's why having leaders in these movements is always a power trip with these guys. Yet they don't lead by example. I'm talking about the Israelite movement. Yeah, that's right. Adam says, starting to think the leaders of some of the larger camps are either feds or Trojan horses for other groups. It's weird when people try to bridge the social gap doing accents like that. Yeah, it was weird as hell. Zabak was just, and what I brought up to him was in Deuteronomy 24:16. It says that the father shall not pay for the sins of the children, and the children shall not pay for the sins of the father. But everybody shall be responsible for their own sins, or everyone shall be held accountable for their own sin. And that's how it's supposed to work. And that sounds pretty righteous right there. I like that. That sounds good, Bible. Give me more of that. Give me more of that logic. You got any more of that logic, yo? I want more of that logic. I love that shit. It just feels good. It sounds good, and it is good. It just fits, Things just, logically, if you own a house and you have a dog house in the back, I'm gonna guess that either you have a dog, or somebody that lived there at some point had a dog, or wanted to get a dog, has something to do with a dog because there's a dog house, Maybe there's a 2% or 2%, a 0.2% chance, a very, very slim chance that maybe there's a human living in there or wanting to be in there. I don't know. People be into some freaky shit. As we know, as we see, Gorilla Hebrew crawling around with them, leashes on your neck or something. Who the hell knows? I'm just trying to think of what white people do. Goddamn sadomasochism, whatever the hell, I don't even know. Sex S&M, sadomasochistic, sadistic. But yeah, these guys are all having, like, I guess maybe being in a leadership position really turns them, the wheels in their brains, and starts, the juices start flowing all different types of places for these guys. They start imagining and you know yeah, kind of wanting to live out a fantasy. And they have the power. I mean, why not? They have the power, they have the money, they got the women. Hey, the world is their oyster, some of these people. I'm supposed to feel sorry for you. I'm supposed to have a fucking debate about how you're not, you know, you're not oppressed, and it's supposed to be difficult. Like, that's a very simple thing to do. Like, why am I even arguing that you're not oppressed? But it's because they say that they are. So why do people still believe in these leaders that the only profit is the money that's going in their pockets? These guys are not prophets. They're not, speaking to an almighty divine source that is connected to whatever the hell, man. I don't know. This is somebody that found his niche, his he's it's a community that is an untapped. It was an untapped market. It was bound to happen. It's been happening for so long, and it was bound to happen. When you look at some of these scriptures that are in the King James Bible, and the way that people look at the Bible itself, and how they love to believe that events are going to repeat itself, and there's a meaning behind it, because things repeat itself. Things are constantly repeating. History repeats itself, but there's no connection behind that. Hebrew Israelites like to use the Bible and make a connection behind history repeating itself, and they make it seem like, you see, the Bible says it. And it's like, well, yeah, the Bible is just speaking about, it's just like people observe, right? People have observed what has been going on for years. You have people starting to play with philosophy now. These Hebrew Israelites, when they start to consider the idea that there could be just one creator, because the idea was always that there's multiple gods. There's a lot of gods, you know. But then started to come the idea that there's one God, one creator, and the Israelites was a group of people that were mostly Canaanites, and they broke off from the Canaanites, and they started their own thing. This one God thing, this one God religion. Because when you read the book of Exodus, before the Israelites knew God as Yahweh or Yahweh, Moses didn't know the name of God, and he said, God even said, I didn't reveal this name to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They didn't know me by this name. And it's literally talking about your name. Because some people will say your reputation is what it's talking about. But that's not what it's talking about. It's not talking about that. It's talking about actually calling him something. Because then he says they know him as Baal, which means Lord or owner. That's what they called their God in Canaan. That's what they called one of their gods, because there were many gods. And there was like the god, El, and Baal, I think, was El's son. It was some weird religion like that, So it's similar to the God that they have, Yahweh, which was known as Baal, and he had a father. And now you start reading about that in the Bible, and it's like there's a backstory to this Hebrew God, and it's all it, iterations. It's all iterations of itself. It's the Quran then comes, and then the Book of Mormon then comes, and it's like you have Monopoly, and then you have different versions of Monopoly. It's like iterations of itself. It's what it all is. Before it became the Jewish Bible, the Torah, before that, it was already another God. But this was before the time when they were really that many literate people. There was languages. There was, certain things that were being written, and you can find the remains of Ugarit that have that similar God. That shit even made it up to Ugarit, which is like modern day Syria. Yeah, it was like all these remains that were found. This is precious information that we need to all research. Go research Ugarit. It's amazing what you could find there, and how you can see the similarities between the God that they worshiped, the God of thunder, the God of lightning, and the same God that the Hebrews worshiped, the God of thunder, the God of lightning. You always read that in the Old Testament. He was up at a mountain, they thought. They thought because they thought the thunder came from the mountain. They thought it was being thrown from the mountain. There's a big mountain over there, and we see lightning over here. Sometimes it's over there. He's throwing it over there. They thought it was coming from the top of the mountain, man. You have stories like that, and it's very similar to the stories in the Bible. That's why Moses went up the mountain to meet God. Moses went up on a mountain to meet God. Why do you have to go up on a mountain to meet God? Isn't God everywhere? Because it was the God of the mountain. That's why he went up high into the sky. It's the God of thunder, man. They have images. They have statues and little figurines of their God holding a lightning bolt. It's like literally. It's supposed to be, his fucking scepter or whatever that he shoots lightning from. They had all these stories, man, and it's like things aren't 100% clear because things get lost in translation. Things get lost in history, lost in earth, in time, and then it's gone, and we're on to the next day, and life goes on. But isn't it great to see what people did back in the days and how they lived? There's no reason to elevate those beliefs as if they were something that were so special when we see all the destruction that was even worse back then that came from all these ideologies. I blame the Israelites. I blame all this stuff. I blame the Muslims. They brought it on with aggression, and they had all these ideas for how the world is supposed to be ran, and how God wants it to operate, like with no consideration of the people around you or what other people might want. It's like, no, I'll tell you what God wants. And it's always benefits some leader or leaders, whether they even believe it themselves. Some of these leaders think that they're really dealing with a God, And the power of the congregation gives them all this confidence. And these guys become narcissists. They think the world revolves around them, especially when they talk about the oppression that's going on. Like, man, I just saw in Virginia, in Spotsville, I think it's called Spotsville, Virginia, man. You got these kids, gun deal gone wrong. These kids got power rifles, man. Gun deal gone wrong. Power, I'm talking about ARs. They're just walking around the neighborhood. One dude was shot in his arm. They're just shooting. The neighbors finally came out like 20 minutes later after hundreds of rounds went off. They said it kept going. It just kept going. They said it was like a movie or video game. Just constant, like, fucking guns being shot off. Like you playing Call of Duty. Just plácate. Bang, 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 bang. I can't even do it as fast as some of these shots go off because these are ARs, AKs, whatever the fuck. Young kids too. But they're oppressed, right? These guys got like military style rifles, man. Military style rifles right now. You know, let's stand up, though. Let's go. Let's call it. I'm calling it. What do you think about the Austin Metcalf case? The Austin Metcalf case, I would love to see a video. I would love to really get some solid evidence on this. But if I'm going to kind of guess what I think happened, right? Which is not, we don't know yet. But we have witnesses. We have admissions. We have a lot of lies. The lies should be evident of people are trying to spin this a certain direction, and it's like, why are you trying to spin it in a certain direction? And then it gets found out to be lies. Did you see some of the stuff that was going around Twitter? Yo, Twitter is a horrible place. Yo. Twitter is like fucking, I don't know, purgatory. It's weird. I go on there and I get fucking angry and shit. Like the shit that I see, I'm like, what's wrong with people? And it's be straight trolls sometimes. I'm like, there's no way somebody could be this fucking evil and crazy. Like people say the craziest shit on there. You know, I troll like crazy on Twitter. Like I don't even like care. Especially when I see a crazy ass comment, I go crazy too. I'm like, let's go. But I post a lot of links and stuff, you know. I like doing that on Twitter because sometimes you never know, a comment might hit. So I like to stay on there. TikTok is a little weird. I don't know, man. I don't know why people love TikTok so much. I can't stand TikTok. That shit's crazy. I feel like I can't focus on nothing on TikTok. Constantly getting distracted on TikTok. I don't like it. But yeah, you got pretty much fake police reports going around, fake stories that police actually that police were supposed to be writing or whatever, reports that weren't true. You know, I forgot what it said, but it don't matter. It's all lies. But what people are saying, there's no evidence of. And it's funny how people are jumping to these conclusions with no evidence of it. And what we do have is that the victim is dead. That's what we do have. There's a victim that's dead, that can't even speak for himself. So, but how are you, with no evidence, automatically hating this kid and thinking that he deserved it? With no evidence. That's weird. The hatred, like, that shit's evil. There's some evil-ass black motherfuckers out here. Y'all fucking evil as shit. That's why people want to stay away from some of y'all. I've seen some, this is crazy shit. Trust me, we know white people could be very evil. But, you know, you gotta stop putting yourself over somebody else then, you know? I've seen so much. I'm talking about comments that these are not bots. These are like, they have like 30,000 followers. They got their own social media presence. It's crazy. These people are donating. I think that the evidence shows that this guy could even be charged with premeditated. That could be reaching, because I know how when it comes to premeditated, there has to be planning. They're gonna look for writing. They're gonna look for, you know, that's usually not what African Americans do. That's what white people do. That's why white people get caught with more premeditated murder than black people, I think. I think even though there's more black people that murder, well, not every year by the raw numbers, but if you look at population-wise, there's a larger percentage of murderers in the white community population wise, I don't think it's like 20 to something, 22%. You know what? I got to go back on those numbers. I think 20 or 22% of the murderers. I forgot how it's worded, but you know, that's not. It's usually not how it goes in the black community. It's not no. When it's a black shooter or killer or stabber or whatever, it's not like he planned it, and you know, there's not a pattern of him being bullied. It's not gonna be stuff like that. Usually, but I mean, when they talking about speaking on premeditated only, you have to have some type of prior information, writing, maybe hearsay is weird. You know, you can't just go by hearsay. That's not gonna cut it with most jurors that you know have been prepped well. Um, you know, so you have to have some type of writing. You know, like what the shooter in Michigan, that kid. You know, there was like premeditated shit. The dude in Buffalo that shot up the Tops Market in Buffalo, that white boy, forget his name too, Grendon. He was like, he planned it, he Skyped it or whatever he did, he recorded it, you know, he was live streaming it pretty much. That's crazy. You live streaming a mass shooting? Wow, that's fucking evil. That's some evil shit right there for sure. You know, but what this kid did, you know, I don't know if he's evil. I'm getting certain vibes from him. Um, I don't know, from the story, the fact that he had a knife, and then him trying to be close to these people that supposedly were bullies. You know, because people try to say that the reason that he had a knife is because there's evidence in the story. There's no story that has come out that's true, that's validated, that that kid has been bullied. They always try to do that when it's like a black school shooter. I've noticed that a lot because I've seen black school shooters' mother get hugged and treated like, oh, we're so sorry by the whole staff. And you know, I've seen that happen. I've seen when it's a white school shooter, like the one in Michigan, they throw the parents in jail, and the parents don't get no hugs. So I'm seeing different things going on. I don't know. I've done the school shooting videos. You know, I did 2022. I did 2023. I'm gonna be starting 2024. I'm just gonna let a little more time pass in 2025. So, you know, sometimes there's cases, there's developments, and that way I get more information. Sometimes they reveal the suspects later on. So I want to give it a little bit more time. But that's evidence right there of in itself that we can all research it. You can all research it and see that I didn't manipulate anything. I didn't lie. I'm getting the facts. I'm getting it from another source. So if it's something that messed up, it's because I used the messed up source. But it's not always just one source. I like to sometimes use multiple sources for one story, if that story gets that big. What I've found is that when there's a black school shooter, the story is not usually that big because there's not that many casualties. So it doesn't make the rounds like it does when a white kid that shoots a bunch of people, which doesn't happen as much, but when it happens, they kill more, and it's more of an impact. That's the distinction that we need to start understanding, man. It's so weird how that's become like a flex, like, oh, white school shooters, yo, you know, on top of you don't season your chicken, you don't clean your meat, you know, on top of all that, you got no rhythm, you can't dance, you sleep with your cousin, your parents are cousins, or you know, whatever the hell. Your parents are brother and sister, they be saying on Twitter. You know, all that stuff. You know, on top of all that shit though, like then it becomes this. Oh, and fuck you, man. Yeah, it's good that you died. Fuck you, motherfucker. You don't touch no black king. That shit's crazy. It's narcissism 101. The world revolves around this cat. And he's made over $400,000. He's raised over $400,000 The judge lowered the bond, and he was able to bail out because the bond was like $900,000. But it came out that they didn't even use that money for the bond. Oh, it also came out that one of the activists that's working real close with Austin Metcalf, I forget this guy's name, but he's a black man. He's an activist. He's like another Ben Crump. This cat has a very scary background. You got to research what this guy was convicted of. It's insane. I got to do more research on that before I let that go and go into another side story, because Austin Metcalf has now bonded out, and Carmelo Anthony has now bonded out. Austin Metcalf is the victim, right? I'm sorry, I'm confusing the names. But yeah, Carmelo Anthony is pretty much being defended by an activist. I forget the guy's name. So, but anyways, he's now out. The judge was a Republican, by the way. The judge that lowered the bond was a Republican, a black woman that was at least voted in as a Republican. But you know, people change. But I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying, because I've seen many times where you have somebody that started off as a Republican and then they ended up a Democrat, like Strom Thurmond, the racist fucking Dixiecrat, Strom Thurmond and shit, Joe Biden's predecessor, or Joe Biden's fucking godfather and shit, whatever the hell he was. He started off as a Republican and then he ended up a Democrat. I think that's also the case for the family of of Clinton, something like that. I forgot, but that judge. I mean, I don't really care about that bond. You know, like I don't know. I don't know about holding people in prison because you have a due process, and I think that becomes problematic when if you're supposed to have a due process and you're innocent. Why are you locked up? You know, but you know that whole prison system is a whole nother fucking conversation. That I'm not even ready to really delve into it yet, but I'm gonna get there. I'm still I'm stuck on this homelessness stuff. That's one of my big things that I'm looking at with society and government, what we need to do, because I haven't really heard anything good coming from either side. You know, or any side, or anybody, really. You know, I don't have no answers either, my friends. But being kept in a jail, prison, or whatever lockdown facility while you await trial, I don't know how I feel about that, man. I've actually changed on my tone on that, I think, over the last 4 years. Over the last 2 years, really, because I never really started putting too much thought to some of these things the way that I should have, really intensely, up until maybe I'll say the last 3, we could say 4 years, why not? You know, I was way too focused on ICGJC. I was obsessed, but you know, that's nothing wrong with being obsessed with something for a certain amount of time, because then later on, when you look back and all the evidence is there and it's still there, you can say, well, I'm glad somebody was obsessed at some time, because look at what we have now that we can look back on, and it's there as a testament for as long as it will be. You know, I'm trying to find my ending spot before I call it a night and get off this live. I've really appreciated doing this though tonight. It feels really nice out here right now. It's fucking perfect weather. April is beautiful. Sorry I ain't reading these comments, but I'm gonna read some of them. Going back to that Austin Metcalf stuff in a minute. Twitter's a psychological war zone. Twitter has nice corners, though. Yeah, fake toxicology, body walking. Yeah, you don't really need writing to show premeditation. Yeah, you don't really need writing, right? I'm trying to think more about premeditation, right? You don't really need writing, or you could have said something, right? Or you could have bought things in a certain way to plan things to show, but it can't just be one thing, a knife. It has to be something that's more like like if you have a fucking if you have what's that, chlorophyll or whatever, and rope, right? And then you fucking chlorophyll somebody up and tie them up, throw them in your trunk. That shit's premeditated, But if you got a knife and then altercation sparks off and you stab somebody, I don't know if you could just call that premeditated. So that's very, very tough to call it like that. You know what I mean? It has to be like a step plan. Like there has to be steps to this shit. It can't just be, boom, you just stab somebody's premeditated. It's so hard to prove it just by you having the evidence of the stabbing. You have to have something else that says, I hate Austin Metcalf. Or, it has to be like really targeted at him, or maybe the group, maybe the team, or a certain group of people, the brother. I don't know, because they were twins, right? So I don't know if any. I remember, man. See, that's why I don't just want to put out what I heard. I gotta really do better research on this, but I like to listen to certain people like Nate the Lawyer, and I like to watch Law and Crime. They usually be on point and accurate, and from what I've seen there, I'll stick to that, because they're going to show you the evidence that you can actually look up yourself, and they'll give you the links. They'll have all that shit there. They're not going to have doctored shit up. They're YouTube. These are respectable YouTube channels, man. Nate the Lawyer is one of my favorites. I like Actual Justice Warrior. He's great too. They put up the fucking evidence. They try to be unbiased. And from what I've seen is that it seems like this cat came close to this tent where these players were sitting under, because the team has a tent. This guy wasn't part of the team. He actually didn't even go to that school. He went to like the opposing team school, but I think he was currently, I don't know. But anyways, he's sitting there. For some reason, he gets told to leave. That's what I want to know more. Why? How did it get to that? Why did he have to leave all of a sudden? Did it become confrontational? Was there a problem? Was he saying something? Because I thought I remember hearing from some witness that they heard him say something before they looked at him and started, calling him out and like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. I think he was saying stuff because, it was a pretty big tent and the area behind it. I don't think he was sitting in the area under the tent either, because he was like behind the team. But apparently Austin Metcalf walked up towards him and he said, touch me and see what happens. And they were like, yo, you gotta go. And he was already reaching in his bag when he said, touch me and see what happens. So this is him getting ready to stab him before he even got touched. Before he was touched. That's a very crucial point, crucial part of the story that you need to focus on. Before he got touched, he was reaching in his bag where the knife was. As soon as he touched him, he stabbed him right in the heart. The knife is 5.5 5 inches long or something like that. I forgot. I got to go back on that. Or not inches. I forgot the measure. But he got stabbed in the heart, bled out, and died, I believe, on the way to the hospital. In the meantime, as he was bleeding out, Carmelo Anthony runs away, throws a knife, and hides somewhere. So when he's found, they find him without the knife. Think he was bloody. He was hiding. He said, "I did it." He confessed. But he said it was self-defense or something. Oh, no, he didn't say. I don't think he said that right away. It came out from the cops' report that he was asking the cop what constitutes self-defense. He was trying to ask the cops, if I guess what he did was self-defense or what constitutes self-defense. And that's pretty much it. The father came out and spoke and said he didn't want this to be a racial thing. He hates that. There's no evidence of that. And we need to leave that out. The thing that I see about race is that Carmelo Anthony would have never got this much money if he wasn't black. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I think it's so easy to victimize black people that white people don't have that privilege to be so easily victimized. If he would have been the aggressor, the story would not go the same way in certain people's brains. They would have flipped it the other direction. And I'm going just based on the evidence. There's a news reporter that interviewed some of the high school students where Carmelo Anthony went to school at, and one of them blurted out, not even thinking, said, "Oh, I didn't think he would ever kill anybody. I'm so surprised," which is stupid that she would say, "I'm so surprised," because she followed that by saying, he was always in fights and all of that. You always saw him getting in fights. So Carmelo Anthony was always getting into fights, according to a high school student that was trying to downplay. Like, "Oh my God, I would never think." What you mean? Of course, somebody has to commit a murder for the first time somehow. What do you think they were doing before they committed a murder? They were probably fighting. How is it so surprising? So this little girl, she didn't realize that the juicy information, the treasure she just let out. And I look at that and the fact that he brought a knife and he's known for fighting. I know what happened here, man. You don't gotta tell me. But I still need to see the video. But I'm out of here, man. That's my thoughts on Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony. Rest in peace to these Christians in Nigeria. 113 in the last 3 weeks passed away. They were murdered by crazy Muslim extremist gunmen. And it's a sad story because they were killed on Palm Sunday. Like 50 of them were killed on Palm Sunday. So Christians are being persecuted for real. It's a sad situation. We better fucking appreciate the good that we got, yo. I want to wish y'all a good night. And talk to you guys soon, all right? Much love. Appreciate you guys.